When we got trapped, what do you do? Actually, I want the answer to that question, but I also want the answer, if possible, that the same thing can happen as a group. Even possibly the whole nation get trapped and don't know what to do. So let me talk about the first case, individually what can be done, because the same idea can be possibly applied for the group too. There was a case of a person I was talking about that she got trapped. And it's easy to say after the fact. So before talking about how to get out of the trap, the first thing we need to realize, if possible, is to know if you are trapped or not. An easy way to find out is that when you're trapped, you don't know what to do. What happens when you don't know what to do? That's the famous quote, why people do Zen. The first issue is for them to face that they don't know what to do. So I may plug in some words from Zen or Buddhism, but I think this is universal. Anyway, if you are trapped, even if you don't know you are trapped, you must feel some unordinary situation, maybe in your mind, that you get trapped or you don't know what to do. That's the sign. Or your body is responding to it. Because the body is functioning, your heart is pumping to make you to be alive. But when you are trapped or you don't know what to do, that's like a finger cutting. There's something wrong in your physiology. So there's a biofeedback from the body to point out something is wrong, which is pain, even suffering, even much worse than that. So you may not feel pain as much in the brain. What you see is the fact that you cannot get out of it. So you're struggling to figure out what to do with the brain about this problem you have. But your body is also as if to try to help you. There's something wrong in what's going on. The life is not as normal as it should be. So the voice from the body or heart is changing the heartbeat or breathing or inner body sensation. If you're too caught up in the brain, you don't notice it. But if you are somewhat trained, understand the idea of what I often talk about, samadhi, have a calm and quiet mind, then you may see yourself better as if you look at yourself in the mirror. But mirror doesn't exist if you're too caught up and you're just lost in your thought. So that's the first thing. There's something wrong in your mind, monkey mind symptom. You may notice that. You may also notice your body is not healthy. The wound is somewhere and the body is telling you. So meditation, if you are more experienced, you may be more accustomed to the calm and quiet mind. But even if you're not, you may have more of a natural tendency that you may have cultivated because of your effort or because maybe your father, mother, or friend had influenced you, or you breathed the air. What is natural is to be calm and quiet in your mind. So if you have such a sense, that's critical. Even if you don't know you're trapped, that there's something is not quite right. So that's number one. Then what do you do? Number two, pay attention what's going on at this very moment that you feel uncomfortable. Your mind may be busy, struggling. That may be something you can observe. If you cannot observe that, what do? You may notice that your body is sweating or heart beating and breathing is rough. And you're not comfortable and peaceful. So I'm sorry to laugh, but that's what it is, because you are so tense and occupied. Physiological change is obvious for others, so they may notice, are you okay? And you ask them, how are you? And they say, I'm okay, I'm fine. But the body tells something different. So notice that. Your own situation, what's going on. And that requires some habitual change in terms of having a calm and quiet mind. The term samadhi is something I use often because it's captured the essence of it. Doesn't matter whether it's Buddha or else. There's a silent meditation in Christianity and prayer in Islam, whatever religion. So calmness brings out the insight of what's going on. So the insight in this case may be my heart is beating, breathing is not right, I'm having called that jittery, and I don't sleep well, I cannot eat well, I'm unhappy. So that's the, sorry to laugh. It's easy for someone else to notice, but you yourself in that situation, as we all know, in the miserable state, I can remember that. So instead of jumping into conclusion or look for instant gratification or take a risk, don't rush it. Just like a gamble, you get hurt more, or investment, or relationship. It may not work always, but often the best thing is to be quiet. Even writing an email instead of sending, wait until next morning. Maybe you're impatient. I have been impatient and I regret to a degree in some cases. So, opportunity of learning, of having a calm and quiet mind is everywhere. You don't have to practice meditation like I've done, Vipassana, 10 days, 12 hours of meditation every day. I did a dozen times. But these days, it's natural. The habitual pattern take over. The good habitual pattern instead of reactive habitual pattern. So if you feel comfortable, if I do feel comfortable, don't do anything. So now, what to do? I come up with the idea what to say. So I said about the situation of getting trapped, and we may not notice it, but having a calm and quiet mind, we can relate to the body's sensation with samadhi. I call it use the brain but listen to your heart. If you just use the brain without listening, you get lost in your mind. So you want to have a calm, quiet mind as a baseline. It may sound, what's the word? Crazy to say something like this or think like this, but there's a home, I call it, eternal home, always there, that makes us to be alive. So we want to connect to that, and therefore breathing and have the oxygen coming in and out. will be quite important. One of the phrases, just for the sake of making this point, Saichi Myokonin and many other Myokonin from Shin Buddhism said, breathing in is like having oxygen, fresh air, revitalizing the body. Breathing out is throw out the unnecessary thought and the waste, uselessness, and then breathe in and breathe out. Pay attention to it. You may be doing it already, but not as much emphasized the merit of it. So that's knowing yourself, get into samadhi. And then you may realize that you get trapped because the body's sensation triggers wisdom if you keep at it by having calm and quiet mind without jumping into conclusion. Now you have a time to throw away and move on to different video. If you stay, you may possibly, no guarantee, because it's your business, the idea of panya, which is wisdom, that only comes not from the brain, but from the heart. Brain, consciousness, shallow, whatever in the mind, heart, deep inside in the body, all the accumulated experiences of yourself even more. That is part of you. So it's like AI reaching out to the big database rather than focus on the narrow-minded approach of trying to be like an egotistical behavior. I know the solution. I can do it. So let's do it. Forget about it. It's too much. So that's the demon. And actually, I remember in Buddha's Sutra, before his enlightenment, this is a story. You don't have to believe it, but I can see that the Buddha was sitting for a long time, and while he was sitting, he had lots of demons coming at you, or lure, women, seducing, and he had to go through that, to break through, to find calm and quiet, peaceful mind, samadhi, before he got awakened, enlightened, find wisdom of how to live. So, can you do it if Buddha did it? My point here is that we all have that element, they call it Buddha nature, or the source of our creative energy, the wisdom, because we are born as human, as many other animals and plants, out of dust of universe. I laugh at it. To me, because it's obvious. I didn't do it. Some Big Bang and nova and all the elements from hydrogen to all the other atoms developed and then put together in some form or the other to have a planet, and over billions of years, here we are. It's a miracle. The source of miracle is within us and making us to be alive. Okay. You can go if you don't want to listen, because you have other things to do. But don't get trapped. So let me talk about how the group can go through this. I practice in my work to transform the organization, but now I like to talk about lots of things happening in the nation. The principle, in my view, is the same. When you are in turbulence and the problem you have, you may not feel that you are trapped. But we may be, you and me also may be trapped because of the news on the media and all the defying or the unthinkable words flying around on the internet. It wasn't like this before, but the world is made such that some people, and me involved, possibly, of course, can be hooked to some easy to go idea. All the advertisement and the story in the media, social media, whatever, try to give you advertisement. If you do this, you'll be wonderful. So be careful. Without us knowing, we may be trapped into the way you think, or we think, or nature may think. And after listening to this and that and this and that, it starts to be like a reality. It's a fake reality, possibly. So as much as I started with a case of a person who got trapped and couldn't get out of it, it's a sad situation if individually we get into that trap without us knowing it. Especially when others are singing and dancing. And all the indication may be there that you have to move with the group. Just be careful. I think history has told us lots of danger happen, just as if hypnotizing by someone to trick you. You may say, religion is like that. And that's true. The religion may try to hypnotize you. I want us, each of us, to have the destiny, be the master of our life. It's your choice. But more and more, all the symptoms that I see, we can impact our own life and the future generation to the point that we may not exist as human with the wrong way of using technology, with wrong way of thinking, and not many people know what can be done. Just following the mob. Let's wish the best we can. Be sincere and truthful. Traps can be everywhere. May all beings be happy. Thank you.